Can the ULM Warhawks take down the Northwestern Wildcats? It's Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Today's episode brought to you by Mazda. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, pulling off the unexpected is the only beginning. Stay tuned later for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. Mazda, move and be moved. All right. So today's episode may be a little bit off, as you can tell by that read. We didn't eat all day, although we have eaten since. So we're going to, all the synapses may not be firing on all cylinders, but are they ever, right? It's always one thing or another. All right. We'll get to the battle for the belt here in a minute and then, or later on. And then we do have some must wins in week 6. And let's be honest, this is not the greatest slate of ball games. You have multiple double-digit favorites in this one, right? Even Monroe, now an 11.5 point underdog. James Madison, almost 20 on the road to Georgia State. Texas State is a 13.5 point favorite on the road in Jonesboro to Arkansas State. And Old Dominion, a 20.5 point favorite, hosting a Coastal Carolina. And 0-5, Oregon State is meeting App State at 2-2. You do have the battle for the belt. Troy hosting South Alabama. We will talk about that next segment. All right, but can ULM take down Northwestern? All right, and a lot of times I'll freely admit I get sucked into these things, but there is a difference between the Group of 5 and Power 4 conference. Okay, and Northwestern is in the Big Ten, and they got to hang with teams like Ohio State, Michigan, Wisconsin, and those teams are always going to be bigger, if not faster, than ULM. Not to mention Maryland, Rutgers, and Penn State, obviously, and some Iowa, those kind of teams. ULM, fumble, is doing a good job of improving on our level here, right? Taking down Arkansas State. They beat up on St. Francis. They're off to a good start. They're 3-1. All right. Are we there yet where they could, upset Northwestern? Again, I'm going to bet all those really smart people at Northwestern have never heard of and don't know where Monroe, Louisiana is. I think ULM has a shot to stay with them. They just have to survive if they can. And they did this against Arkansas State. They got to survive the first punch. Or do they give the first punch? Because you start getting behind and you start thinking about losing instead of trying to do what you need to do to win. We can't be losing to UL Monroe. We can't be losing to a team in the Sun Belt. And then you start forcing mistakes. And then it can spiral out of control. Again, Northwestern, we've talked about this throughout the week. Northwestern is not a great football team. Or at least have not played well so far this year, right? They put up 3 points against Tulane in week 1. They beat Western Illinois 42-7. All right, FCS. I mean, if you want to say they hung with Oregon 34-14, let's check out that game a little bit more. In fact, they really didn't hang with it. It was 34-0 before they got on the board. All right. And Oregon, one of the best teams in the nation. Okay. Although yards wise, this was turnovers. So they had a bunch of turnovers. They did put up 313 yards. Northwestern did to Oregon's 373, but it would be interesting to see what that was through 3 quarters. And very well could have been 300 yards to 150 yards through 3 quarters. And then they tacked on a couple of touchdowns, probably versus Oregon's second string defense. Okay. But can ULM get it? Because ULM is pretty good defensively. Now, this is Sun Belt stats. I get it. And this is just it's not just within the Sun Belt. It's overall. But let's see where they rank. Okay. ULM is overall in scoring defense 28.5. Now, that's going to be a little misleading because 73 of those were against Alabama. All right. They've given up 0 to St. Francis. They gave up 25 to UTEP and 16 to Arkansas State. That's a lot better than the 28.3 or so. Is that what I said? 28.5 that they've given up overall. All right. Because you take the one game out, it's much lower. All right. Let's see where they are in rushing or totals. Total defense, that's yardage per game. They're 6th in the Sun Belt, 363. All right. Rushing a defense, they've given up 84.5 yards a game. 84. They're ahead of James Madison when it comes to rush defense. App State's given up only 84 yards a game. ULM, 84.5. One is 84.3. The other one's 0.5. All right. James Madison's given up 90. But ULM has given up only less than 85 yards a game on the ground. Now, they're last in the Sun Belt, giving up almost 280 yards a ball game passing-wise. All right. However, again, if you go back to the 73-0 game, they gave up 371 yards of passing to Alabama. Should we compare that? Do we have time? I guess we do have time. So that's almost so St. Francis. What do we think St. Francis got? St. Francis had a total of 131 yards, period. They had 50 yards passing. Pretty good. All right. Now, UTEP going to have some passing yards because they scored 15 points in the fourth quarter. So they're going to get some yards in there. UTEP, because they were behind the whole game, had 442 yards. 409 of that is in the passing range. They stopped trying to run it. Although they did have 28 rushing attempts, they only rushed for 33 yards. That's really impressive, right? Really impressive. And then against Arkansas State, ULM gave up 185 yards passing. So they're good defensively. Hang on to the football. Don't necessarily need to take too many chances. I don't mind, you cross the 45 or into the 40 if you want to go for it on 4th and 2. But let's see if Northwestern can, go the length of the field. Let's see if we do it the other way. Big Ten stats. All right. Big Ten conference. See if this is easy to find. Of course, it's not. Sports, all schools, football, stats. Let's see where we are here. Okay. That's players. Do we have teams? All right. Teams. Okay. Defense. Northwestern. That's tackles? No. All games. Yeah, that's tackles. I don't know what we're doing here. Leaders. Teams. Defense. All right. I don't know why we're counting tackles. What is that? All stats. Let's see if we can get all stats here. I accept. They're not giving me all the stats. All right. It is what it is. Team, leaders, table. All right. Rank. I don't know why we're doing. It's a very odd statistics for the Big Ten. All right. Let's see where Northwestern is ranked 13th in solo tackles. That's the way they do it. That's going to be offense. All right. They're not doing it defensively. All right. It is what it is. Let's see if we view the PDF. No, doesn't help me either. All right. So the Sun Belt website is better than the Big Ten website. But we can, let's see if we look at the matchup here. And this is going a little bit longer than I would have liked already. Let's see here. So we got some matchups here. Again, Northwestern is 11.5. I'm going to take ULM. ULM would be plus 340 to win the football game. And they struggled against UCLA. And UCLA, did you see that? UCLA is, I think, one of 2 teams in the nation that has not led at all this year. Like, UCLA is awful. And Northwestern beat them 17-14. I think they got a shot. I think ULM's got a shot. Don't turn the ball over. Take the chances when you're supposed to. Like, let's not be going for it on 4th and 2 on your own 45. Because I don't think Northwestern's very good offensively. No. Let's see if ULM can get another Power 4 victory for the Sun Belt. All right, let's take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll start it off with Battle for the Belt. Troy hosting South Alabama. We'll do that right after I tell you about Mazda. This episode is brought to you by Mazda's. Moving the game forward. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it. There are moments that do more than put points on the board. They move crowds, move culture, and keep moving the game forward. This week's moment that moved the game forward, it was many a moments. How about Lunch Winfield coming in down 17 points, leading the Louisiana Raging Cajuns to the victory in double overtime, 54-51. Responsible for 5 touchdowns while he was quarterback. Unbelievable. Plus a field goal. Outstanding job by Lunch. They get the week off. They get to heal up. And we'll see what they do against JMU next week. When you follow what moves, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. All right, Dave Schultz, Lockdown Sunbelt, your teams every day. All right, battle for the belt. You got Troy 2-2 and 2 improbable wins. I mean, they put up 28 points against Nichols in the 4th quarter, down 17-0. They put up 21 points on the board against Buffalo. Those are their 2 victories. So here's the thing, the lesson that you're learning. It does not matter how much time is left in the game. You better make sure you finish it against Troy. That's the first thing. All right, Troy could very easily be 0-4, but they have 2 huge wins, both in the 4th quarter, so you know they're going to come and not quit, as they say. South Alabama, I don't know what you can do. You know, they are explosive offensively. They can run the football. I think we saw Troy is pretty good on the rush defense. Troy is 4th in the rush defense. Giving up 132 yards a game. South Alabama rushes for 190 yards a game. We'll see how that goes. The thing is, South Alabama's rush defense gives up almost 200 yards a game. Scoring totals, South Alabama is 10th, giving up 32 points a game, kind of rounding up. Troy only gives up 23 points a game. Total defense, Troy's 2nd in the league, yardage-wise, 318 yards a game. South Alabama, oddly enough, is only 5th, 361. That is interesting. All right. I find that number to be interesting. I'm going to take Troy. They're at home. They're 1.5 favorite. I think Troy's going to win this game. We'll see. If South Alabama wants to turn their season around, this could go in the 3rd segment. Kind of a must-win for them. But I believe Troy is just a 1.5 favorite. Oh, I'm sorry. No, my bad. South Alabama 1.5 favorite. Interesting. I did not see that to be the case. I thought Troy was favorite. Still taking Troy. It opened up. Oddly enough, it opened up Troy 2.5-point favorite. It is now South Alabama a 1.5 favorite. All right, I'm still taking Troy. All right, unless I missed that Tucker Kilgrease is hurt. I may have missed that. So I am going to take Troy, as South Alabama won the battle for the belt for the first time in forever last year. And we'll see if Troy can reclaim it back in at home. All right. Elsewhere in the Sun Belt, you do have those 2 big, the 2 best teams in the East are playing teams that you would think they would blow out. Georgia State hosting James Madison. JMU 19.5-point favorite on the road in Atlanta. And Old Dominion 20.5-point favorite against Coastal Carolina. Now, it shouldn't take much. All right. And I know Coastal, or I should say Old Dominion, is coming off a poor performance against Liberty. They again turned the ball over way too much. They should have, throttled Liberty, although their defense showed up, giving Liberty only 7 points. And we can look ahead, right, till October 18th. Old Dominion and JMU in Harrisonburg, going to be the clash of the Titans. But Old Dominion can't look ahead, and they should look at what Coastal Carolina did to South Alabama. That was embarrassing for South Alabama. Good job by Coastal. And look at the way they played themselves. So if you take those two things into consideration, this should be an Old Dominion victory. I don't know if it has to be by 21 points. I guess if you're taking Old Dominion in the 20.5, you want it to be by 21 points or more. But I think Old Dominion will take down Coastal, and I will also take JMU. One may have taken them in my weekly parlay. I think JMU is going to cover against Georgia State. I do. I'm not sure what's going on with Georgia State, but they have not lifted their play as one would have expected or hoping. Either way. All right, we got a few more games to go. Let's keep on going. Let me see if this is because I think we're long in the first segment. Can't go too short in the second segment. Let me see if that's an app. That's a must win. That's a must win. And that's kind of a must win. All right, we are going to take a break. We'll have a short second segment. All right, let's take a time out. We'll come back. We still have Arkansas State hosting Texas State and App State against Oregon State. We'll do that after I tell you about 5 Hour Energy and DoorDash. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5 Hour Energy delivered tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors, each 2-ounce shot packs, the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and crashes. What I love most is how portable they are. Big taste, tiny shot you can take anywhere and get the boost you want when you need it. All right. I always reach for my favorite flavor because it's refreshing, gives me the quick lift before a busy day. And honestly, I love how fast it kicks in and that it's sugar-free, so I don't have to worry about crashing later. Enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5 Hour Energy shots. Get the favorites you love, or be bold and try something new in-store and online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon today. And DoorDash. It's almost the weekend. Time to look back to crown this week's MVP. Who delivered? Powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered it when it mattered most. Let's break it down. All right, we already went with Lunch Winfield with Mazda. Let's go with Aiden Armenta for ULM. Did not start off very well at all. Started off with a pick 6. That's not great, Bob, but he bounced back. Aiden Armenta finished 17 out of 26, 2 touchdowns, just that 1 interception, and he had 185 yards in that 28 to 16 victory over Arkansas State, snapping that 15-game losing streak. So from ULM, Aiden Armenta delivered in a big way, coming back from that fourth quarter, or from that first pick 6, and to lead ULM to the victory. When the pressure was on, Aiden came through. No hesitation, no delay. And if you've been watching week after week, his performance wasn't a fluke. Aiden Armenta is getting better and is on a streak. And just like Aiden Armenta delivered for ULM, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays. With DoorDash streaks, you save every Saturday you order. Stack it up all season, and you can save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day. Only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period through 11/18. All right. This is, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt. Your teams every day. All right. must wins in week 6. And you could say the same thing. You absolutely could included South Alabama in that for a must win. If you're trying to have some relevancy here in 2025. Could say the same thing for Georgia State, but I don't think they're going to get too many more wins at all. All right. And so we are left with Arkansas State taking on Texas State. They are at home. Texas State is a 2-touchdown favorite. It has just not gone Arkansas State's way. It has gone Texas State's way. They are very good. Their only game they lost was to Arizona State. Game kind of spiraled out of control. We discussed that, but they beat Eastern Michigan rather easily, hung on to defeat UTSA, and then destroyed FCS Nichols 35-3. Remember, Nichols gave Troy a battle, I think, to open up the season. But they're going to play Arkansas State, and it has been interesting the last couple years. Texas State beat them 41-9 in 24. But what about 23? Arkansas State put up a 77 spot in that ball game. Think it went over 77-31. My goodness. There was a point in that ball game where I don't think there was any like plays from scrimmage or something along those lines. Interception, fumble return for a touchdown. It got out of control fast. There may have been some kickoff returns for touchdowns. It got out of control fast. So think about that. 77-31 Arkansas State 2 years ago. 41-9 last year in favor of Texas State. Remember the 77, by the way, that was in San Marcos. I think. I'm pretty sure since oh no. Nope, I got that backwards, didn't I? I believe I got that wrong. Oops. I don't know why I thought that. I did think that I got it wrong. It was in Jonesboro. All right. So the 77 was in Jonesboro. I don't know why I thought that otherwise. Let me see. 23 versus it was in Jonesboro. 77-31. All right. Oops. Thought I had a big thing. Didn't. I told you. Didn't eat all day. Synapses not firing on all cylinders. But Arkansas State's got to win it. Arkansas State is looking at 1-5. All right. And again, because people always expect the best and want immediate results, they're going to start talking about Butch Jones. I don't think Butch Jones is going anywhere. All right. Again, the guys over at Georgia Southern did a deep dive on his contract. They're not playing this week, but he's not going anywhere either. All right. So it's a bad season. No one's denying that. But he's not going anywhere. I really don't think he's going anywhere. Doesn't mean some people won't be going anywhere. But Butch Jones is not. I don't think he's going anywhere. You want to say his seat's getting warm? Okay. But he's not going anywhere. All right. I don't think one bad season gets you fired. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's going to be the case. And the other must win is App State. All right. You're 2-2. You've come off 2 rather poor outings. We see if AJ Swann is better, but you're taking on 0-5, former Power 5 school, now just a G5, Oregon State. They're 0-5. You're playing at home. You got to win. I mean, there's just, I mean, we could get snow, ice. Don't want to hear it. You got to win the football game. All right. We're not getting that. But I'm just saying, I don't want to hear the excuses on why they lost. Run the football and have AJ Swann not throw it to the other team. Easy recipe for victory. By the way, App State just announced a new addition to the stadium. Do they need more? Someone get on there in the comments. I think making more seats. I know it's sold out. It's fine the way that it is. Yeah. I mean, maybe there's some infrastructure. It seemed like concession stands and bathrooms. Those are good things. Obviously, more of that makes the fan experience better. Do we need to pack in another 5,000? Because are you always going to pack in those 5,000? Maybe you will in lovely Boone, North Carolina. I like selling out on a regular basis. This isn't exactly a 20,000 seat stadium. I think it's a 40,000 seat stadium. And they do pretty good. I'd leave it like that. If you got to add some infrastructure, and that's going to add some seating, okay. But I don't necessarily need to make it a huge stadium. JMU on the other side, on the other hand, I guess, they need to fix up that one side of the stadium, right? Half the stadium looks like Division I. The other side looks high school. That I understand, all right? Although I'm still a big fan of selling out. But yes, I mean, one half looks as new and pristine as it can be. The other half seems like we're playing football in 1950. That's different. That's different. But if I'm App State, you got to win the football game. All right. I'm going to take App State. They have to win the football game. I'm also going to take, I'd say Arkansas State has to win the football game, but I'm taking Texas State. I think Texas State's going to win and cover, personally. And somewhere along the way, I do have to go through all of these picks because I think I've picked them all. I just haven't said what my record is. Let's go through them again. Troy is a 1.5 point underdog at home. I'm going to take Troy at home. UL Monroe, or ULM as the case may be, 11.5 point favorites on the road. I'm going to take the Warhawks. I'm going to be a little homer that way. How about the total being 42.5? App State's a 1.5 favorite at home. I'm taking the Mountaineers in lovely Boone, North Carolina. James Madison taking on Georgia State. Can Georgia State make a statement here? I mean, this game really has about 35-7 written all over it. And we'll see if Arkansas State can bounce back. They just have not. They have not played well since Iowa or Iowa State, as the case may be. And they just have not bounced back from Arkansas and Iowa State. Kennesaw State, ULM, they're looking like they're going to lose their 5th in a row because they started out 1-0. All right. And Old Dominion taking on Coastal Carolina. I think Coastal is going to make it closer than 21 points. It's 20.5. I'm taking ODU to win, but probably Coastal to cover. We'll see how that goes for the Monarchs and the Chanticleers. All right. Again, special thanks to Colton Joseph for hopping on. He was great. And again, Eric Bohannon for helping me out with the with setting up the interview. We'll try to get some more interviews. I'm not off until Friday next week. So I'm off on Sunday this week. We'll see if we can move. We're moving just down the street, as the case may be. But we'll see when we can get another interview in. If there's maybe we can get lunch on. Maybe we can figure out a time where we can get him on, because I think their practice coincides with me being home. In fact, I'm probably home before they're done with practice. So we'll see if we can get that in there. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy the football. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. Appreciate it. Again, a record-setting month in September. It was fantastic. And we're continuing to hope for bigger and better things as we move forward. All right. You've been watching Locked on Sunbelt, your teams every day. Enjoy the football, folks. Be back with you again on a Monday.